OTT, otherwise known as over-the-top, is now gaining lots of traction, and it seems like the future of television could be doubtful if the streaming platforms grow the way that they are right now. Hello and welcome back to another video on the channel, and today we are discussing if OTT is the end of TV shows. Number 10. OTT versus TV. Ever since the introduction of streaming platforms like Netflix, Amazon Prime, Hulu, and many others, the world of television and film has completely been shaken. Where people would go to movie theaters for the release of a film or wait for it to come out on television, today people are able to access what movies they want just at the click of a remote. The OTT gets its name from the fact that streaming platforms went over the top of the traditional television's devices. It is becoming more and more common for people to completely do away with the cable subscriptions and stick to a streaming platform of their preference. These streaming services charge an amount of money with different packs to choose from and get straight to the point, just the way people like it nowadays. The older televisions are now being replaced by online streaming services that provide the viewers with the option of streaming whenever they want, as long as they have strong Wi-Fi. Number 9. Much more convenient than TV. OTT platforms are becoming more and more popular because of the fact that they are much more convenient to use in comparison to television. Old-fashioned cable has ads, set runtimes, and doesn't give the viewer an opportunity to choose what they want to watch, unlike the shows on OTT platforms, which are available just a click away. People enjoy the variety that is offered by platforms like Netflix, where you can even type in a certain genre and view all shows and movies that are relevant. You can watch from the comfort of your bed, your car, or anywhere really. Whereas with television, you cannot carry it around with you on a smaller device like your phone or iPad, and it's usually just a report on the same shows and movies. People also enjoy binge-watching entire seasons of shows rather than watch half an hour every day and wait a whole day. Number 8. Regional content. OTT does have its drawbacks though. When it comes to more regional content, that is not something that you are able to find on these platforms. In fact, one of the major reasons that people still are watching television is because of the more local and regional news, shows and channels which do not have any connection with OTT platforms. There is scope, however, for introducing platforms that could showcase only regional and more local content, but whether the people would be willing to shell out more money to subscribe to another streaming service for regional content when they can just keep their cable connection is up for debate still. Number 7. Digitization and the rural markets. One of the main drawbacks when it comes to streaming platforms is the fact that it is so dependent on Wi-Fi and the internet. Without it, you cannot stream your favorite shows like cable television, which works with satellite connections. Because of this, a huge portion of the world's population gets left out from being able to access these platforms. Digitization has not yet reached into many rural areas and countries where people are barely managing to make ends meet. Things like Netflix is nothing but a dream to them. Certain regions and areas are yet to witness the power of the internet for them to be able to avail. This would not even be possible from a technical point of view. To ask people like that to pay a subscription fee and also have a Wi-Fi connection is not really the best option. That's where television really wins out, and we won't be seeing that changing for many backward and underdeveloped countries just yet. Number 6. Merging OTT platforms and film industry. It looks like with the growth of these platforms and the shift of the audience from traditional television to the more modern streaming sites will lead to a need for integration between technologies. OTT can actually be very helpful in reaching a mass audience for just a fraction of the price that they would pay to advertise through TV. The film industry, too, has seen a shift where they now do releases for their movies online, moving away from traditional theatrical release, also owing to the COVID-19 restrictions. They could monetize their online ads and earn millions within the first few weeks of the release of shows and movies. Number 5. The need of the hour. Where the OTT streaming platforms have really won out is during the recent COVID pandemic. Due to the extended lockdowns, quarantine, and various rules in countries all around the world, people were forced to stay home. This led to a boost in the viewership for television and for the platforms. People have been downloading the apps at amazingly large rates. Many movies and shows have since moved on the platforms because they know that is where the real viewership lies. It has been a silver lining for all the people who have had to stay at home or who have even had to cut their cable. People have even joked about the fact that platforms like Netflix and Hulu have been their only friends in these isolated times. It is expected that even after moving out of the pandemic restrictions, as more people get vaccinated, that people will continue to use these services and may even consider cutting the cord on their television and cable connection in favor of the newer platforms. This could be a game changer for the OTT platforms and for the future of television, but whether negative or positive, that only time will tell. Number 4. The absence of advertisements. One of the biggest reasons that people love watching Netflix and other streaming services it is because there are no ads. No more pesky breaks in between your favorite show. People have often complained that the advertisements ran longer than the actual show they were watching. For companies and brands, this television advertising has been very important and forms a big part of their reach. It is one of the easier ways to get their product out there with fancy jingles and funny or creative advertising to make it more memorable. But it looks like people would much rather watch shows without disturbance in between, and maybe companies will now start rethinking their marketing strategies. And what this means for the future of television that relies on the money from these companies will be one to watch for. Younger millennials are shown to be more likely to purchase something they saw on YouTube or through brand deals from influencers and social celebrities, as compared to an ad they saw on TV. Number 3. Directors could be changing their approach. It is quite possible, with the changes and restrictions that have caused the sets to close down and put a halt in production for several movies and objects, that the directors and producers now will consider shifting their attention from purely theatrical releases and would like to focus more on growing on these modern platforms. What's better is that releasing films online through these platforms would take away the risk of piracy, which has always been a huge problem, and could essentially get rid of the need for piracy to begin with. We know for a fact that the future of films will forever be changed now with the introduction of these platforms. Number 2. OTT will benefit businesses. As a business owner, they will be the one who can really take advantage of these platforms. First of all, it will allow for much higher engagement with your target audience. They're often on their phone and personal devices when watching through Netflix and other streaming services. It will make it much easier to place ads and monetize them. Streaming allows for a more personalized form of content as compared to the television ads, which are highly competitive and expensive. You can choose specific shows that you know your target audience might be watching and zero down on them, increase your sales potential, and reduce costs to a minimum. A real win for businesses right there. Number 1. The last generation of TV watchers. To conclude, with the rate at which the viewership on Prime, Netflix, Hulu, and more have been increasing, it is quite possible that we could be the last generation of people to watch traditional television. We could possibly be seeing a complete transition from TV to OTT stream of content. If you think that's far-fetched, then just remember that about 2 decades ago, credit cards were seen as something strange, and no one expected that we would be headed towards a cashless future. Now perhaps we are headed towards a television-less future too. And with that being said, it's time to end our video. But before that, we want to know, do you prefer to watch television shows or shows from OTT platforms? You know what to do. See you in the comment section. We hope you enjoyed the video. Consider liking the video and subscribing to the channel, and we'll see you soon. Thanks for watching.